Oh, so I might have a little bit of a rant incoming. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm talking about discharge for cause. And hey, y'all, I'm Shelly. I do tips for hospice nurses. And today I'm talking about the reasons you would discharge a patient for cause. So discharging for cause is one of the reasons you may have discharge a patient live from hospice. But discharge for cause should be very, very rare occurrence. And there's really only 2 times that you should discharge someone for cause. One, your patient is very mobile and they're just never home and you can't do the 14-day visits. And 2, it is an unsafe environment where your life is threatened, where your safety is threatened. Those are really the only 2 reasons. I know people are going to write in and say there's other reasons, but those that are probably acceptable by Medicare, the other reasons, but these are really the only 2 ethical reasons that you discharge somebody for cause from hospice. You do not discharge somebody for cause because the caregiver isn't following your advice, or they aren't doing things the way you want them to do, or they're smoking in the home. You just figure out a solution because that's what we do. We work it out and we meet the patient outside. But that is not a reason to discharge for cause. But let me tell you what kind of prompted this rant that I'm on right now. I saw a scenario where this nurse had a patient who was very, very debilitated, and the family was not taking care of the patient. And they were refusing to put the patient in a nursing home. Y'all know we've all been in these scenarios, and it's incredibly difficult. The agency had called APS twice, and the patient was still in the home. They hadn't really been able to do anything. And so the nurse was asking for advice, what to do, what other options are there? And several people gave some great advice, but I saw also several people that said discharge for cause because they're non-compliant, the family, because they're not following the care plan that you put out there. Y'all, so the answer is we already know this patient is not being cared for by their family, and then hospice is going to abandon them too and just leave them there. That's the answer? No, that is not the answer. The answer in this scenario, and what you do in a case like this, is you increase the hospice visits. You do the CNA visits 7 days a week. You do your nursing visits 3 times a week, social work visits once a month, once a week, chaplain visits once a week, so that 7 days a week, there is somebody in that home. And during the week, there's somebody in there twice. So if the CNA goes in the morning, the other disciplines go in the afternoon. And y'all, please coordinate your schedule around the CNAs because y'all know how hard they work. We all work hard, but the CNAs, man, I don't even know how they do what they do. They work so hard. So if the CNA goes in the morning, you go in the afternoon. So your hospice is in there twice during the week. And you have the CNAs on the weekend. And maybe even the on-call nurse doing a follow-up visit. Now, if you work for a company that says, well, we don't do CNAs on the weekend and we don't want you to increase your visits like that because it's not productive, my advice is to go find a company that does put their patients first and that does allow the care that needs to be given to the patients. Because also, I tell you, in my experience, companies that put the patients first also put their staff first. So it's a great place to work and you're able to do what it is that you need to do for your patients. So now I'm off my rant, y'all, because I could get on that whole other rant too. But please, discharge for cause should be very, very rare. In many states, you're required to actually notify the state before you discharge the patient for cause. So check your state regs too before you discharge for cause. And y'all be safe out there. And y'all remember, if we work together, we can change our world. And I love you guys.